This is the reason that you're dying all the time in Modern Warfare 2. Did you see it? It was there as clear as day. Now hopefully by the end of this video, you can look at what I've shown you and take something away from it, whether you agree with it or not. That's up to you. But I'm going to drop some tips and tricks in here that I think will actually help to improve your gameplay. There's a couple of fundamentals that you need to change in how you're playing this game compared to previous COD entries. Now I used to do a lot of tips and tricks on this channel. I haven't really in the last couple of years. Analytical commentary, looking back at gameplay and explaining why it's effective, why it isn't, and generally just trying to put information out there that people can use. So what is it then? Well, the biggest tip that I could give for Modern Warfare 2 is to just slow down. And what I mean by that is be way more methodical in your gameplay. Stop sprinting as much, stop tactical sprinting as much, and move through these levels in a fashion where you're aiming or ready to aim when you go around a corner. There's a lot of reasons why that particular gameplay style works a lot better in this game, but I think there are three main pillars that we can talk about here. The first one is the time to kill. The second one is the movement mechanics and the gameplay design, the way that that all blends together. And the third one is the way that people are setting up their guns, sometimes incorrectly, because the attachment system has changed quite a lot from Warzone and Modern Warfare 19. So the first one, time to kill, TTK. Most of the assault rifles in this game average around 200 to 300 millisecond time to kill. Some of them, like the Kastov 74U, the TAC 56, are sub 200 millisecond time to kill at their first damage range. So it's incredibly quick, and sometimes it might feel like you're playing hardcore mode. You're not. This is just how they've designed the game. Will it change? I don't know. That's a debate for another day, but that's how it is right now. And it's common sense that if you're walking instead of sprinting, you can get your gun up and aim a lot quicker. Or if you're already pre-aiming a corner or a gap where you expect someone to come out, even if your aim isn't as good as the person that you're about to shoot and they get a couple shots on you, by the time that they flick and aim on you, by the time that they have to stop tactical sprinting, bring their gun up, stop jumping, they're already going to be dead. So that goes back to what I was saying, being methodical, slowing the pace down as you go through the levels, checking the corners, peeking your angles while you're aimed down the sight rather than sprinting out of an alcove into a corridor. And of course, sometimes a quick burst of speed will get you an advantage. And maybe that's how you played MW19. You were just constantly at 90% tactical sprinting all the time. In this game, can't really do that anymore. I've turned auto tac sprint off in this game because I found that it was getting me killed more than it was helping. And you're also making a significant amount more footstep noise while you're tactical sprinting. Tactical sprint isn't completely useless though. On the bigger maps like in Ground War or Warzone DMZ, it's going to be invaluable really. Crossing an open street, running to one side of a truck so you can outflank a player, getting into cover quickly. There's a reason for that to be in the game. But generally speaking, on most of the maps in the game so far, if you're playing 6v6, the time to kill is so quick that it's giving you a massive advantage if you just slow it down. This way you'll be ready to shoot people who are running around like headless chickens and they haven't realized it yet. And I want to be clear here too. I'm not saying that you need to camp and don't move and be passive all the time, because hopefully you can see in these clips that I am moving around the level. I'm just doing it at a much slower pace than what I would usually do in a COD game. But from my experience, now that I've changed to this playstyle, I'm getting a lot more kills and I'm getting a lot fewer deaths. The amount of players who are just sprinting at me, tac sprinting across a corridor, running into my crosshair just because I'm holding the angle, it's just so much more efficient for me that way. So that's TTK covered. Next one is movement. So in this game, Infinity Ward have nerfed a lot of the movement mechanics and tricks that you would have used in MW19 and Warzone to outplay people. For example, you can't spam bunny hop anymore when you're shooting. You do one jump like I mentioned and then you just slow down, you become sluggish. You can't slide cancel anymore, so the reliance of doing that and cancelling it and getting into a fight straight away, that's gone. Slide cancelling was also used as an escape mechanic or a mechanic to throw off someone's aim in a 1v1 if they got the jump on you, for example. You can't do that now. Drop shotting's been nerfed. You can dolphin dive in this game, but there's a bit of a pause when you hit the floor before you can shoot. And one of the most important ones is that the sprint to fire time has been nerfed. Let's say you're sprinting and you want to try and get your gun up, hip fire, or even ADS. That's a lot slower than it used to be. And that plays into what we were just talking about. You've got much more of a benefit if you're walking or just doing the normal sprint to quickly aim and fire at someone. So you can't really rely on those movement tips and tricks that you may have built into your muscle memory over the last 3 years. And yes, it is quite difficult to shake those habits. I live streamed the first couple days of Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer last week, and you can go back and watch it, and I'm trying to play it like MW19. And playing aggressive and rapid, yes, that works sometimes, but it was also leading to more inconsistency with me. But since then, I've just been playing a lot by myself and focusing on doing things differently and taking advantage of the game design, because this is not the same game as MW19 at all in terms of the mechanics. And the third pillar is the way that everyone's using Gunsmith and setting up their guns. So everyone's used to this system in Warzone, Modern Warfare, but there wasn't really that many downsides and you could just keep stacking attachments and make the guns better. In MW2 though, there's quite a few downsides to certain attachments, and you'll find that if you're putting like 5 on, it might actually be performing worse than if you just had a couple on. And the biggest reason for this, I think, is the ready to fire speed and the ADS speed. The more attachments that you put on, if you just go through and look at them, so many of them slow down your aim down the sight speed, and it's already slower in this game. And that's exacerbated by the fact that you might be sprinting around everywhere. You're not ready to shoot, and then you are ready, you go to ADS, but it's too late, you're dead. The person holding the angle, they've already got you. On top of this, a lot of the attachments that you add have negative effects on your recoil and your weapon stability, both incredibly key factors in building a decent gun. But most importantly, I would focus on a build that has good ADS speed and good ready to fire speed. In all these clips that you're watching here, I was just using the STB 556. And the only attachment that I put on in this last gameplay section was the red dot. Everything else was stock. It was just one attachment. So if you don't like the iron sights, I'd recommend putting a sight on. And in terms of a grip, the shark fin grip is a good choice. Keep in mind that I'm mainly talking about the assault rifles and the SMGs here. I haven't really touched the battle rifles or the LMGs. Use the snipers a bit, but I think that when Warzone releases, more attachments will come into play. There's a content creator that I watched called Exclusive Ace, and he's just put out a video where he's breaking the attachments down and talking about what's good, what's bad. So if you want to watch someone who really goes in depth into this and looks at the stats, go check out his channel and you won't be disappointed. So those are the 3 key pillars that I just mentioned. Outside of that, a couple of other tips and tricks. I would say always take Ghost. There are so many UAVs in this game, especially in the big game modes like Ground War and Invasion. You don't realize the amount of time that you're on the map and it's giving away your position more often than you would think. So just take Ghost. If you hear there's an enemy UAV in the air, run a Stinger as secondary, lock onto it, fire. It's fire and forget. It's that simple. That's gone. In addition to that, if you hear that the enemy pops a counter UAV, quickly go outside, look up into the sky, and you'll see this MAV drone thing hovering there. And you can shoot this down incredibly quick just with your primary weapon. The enemy called this in, and I shot it down within 3 seconds of it being there. The minimap too. Naturally, look at that as much as you can. Look at the compass on the top 2, which will show you the direction of enemies shooting. And remember that on the minimap, no information is information. If you've got a lot of teammates around you and there's an open space on the map, no UAV, you're not getting any pings anywhere, you can take a rough guess as to where the enemy spawned or where they're going to be. And finally, in regard to footstep sounds, if you can, put a headset on. I'm going to do a proper test on the walking speeds and how they affect footstep sounds. But from what I've tested on my setup, the best audio setting for me for hearing footsteps is home theater. As far as I know, that will give you uncompressed audio, and I feel like I can just hear footsteps a lot better with that setting. So that's all I've got for you today. Put it all together, try adjusting your playstyle a bit, see how that affects your in-game stats. I know that there's a lot of debate in the community too at the moment about the changes that have been made. Some people love it, some people hate it and feel like it's not COD anymore. Some people like the direction that this game's going in. Might change, might stay the same. We'll have to see. For now, it is what it is. Try and level up those guns as quick as possible before Warzone releases, because it's what, like 14 days away now? Not long to go. With that said, do consider leaving a like and a comment below. Thank you. Also, let me know if you want to see more videos like this where I'm just talking about gameplay with a few tips and tricks thrown in. I am planning on doing a proper tips and tricks video for MW2 though. But if you want more like this, where it's a bit more natural, free-flowing, let me know how you feel about it. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate you being here. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.